Hi, I'm here for another day, and I'm super happy that you are here with me as well. I think that's pretty cool. Um, I personally felt so good after yesterday, just doing what I had, envisioned in my mind, and actually taking the action and following through with it. Doing the meditation, it just felt so good, and I hope that you're experiencing some positive results too. And I was quite surprised taking a shower this morning. I had like all these ideas come to me for something that I could talk about today. And that seems to be like where I get my inspiration most is, well, there's three things. There's taking a shower. I just get these amazing ideas. I can remember as a student trying to write papers and things like that, and that's where I would really get the best ideas. But going out and hiking and driving, going on a road trip, that's where I have my biggest epiphanies. So um, that's pretty cool. That's nice. I guess it's a time where our minds can just kind of go on autopilot, and we can tap into our higher selves, that broader perspective. Um, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about this morning was in the very my entry into this whole world of, I don't even want to call it woo woo, because that is so outdated now. Like, we are so beyond that concept, right? A lot of the things that we're talking about and exploring on this channel, whether it's um, light language, meditation, um, life on, a bigger galactic conversation uh, for the galaxy, manifestation. It's all the frequency and energy in crystals and rocks. I've got some favorites here with me again today, um, and the healing properties of water, the healing properties of frequency and sound. Like, there's studies out there. There's lots of information out there. We're so beyond woo woo. So I'm not going to say that, but at the very beginning of my journey is what I'll say. I can remember the CD that launched me was Louise Hay, 101 Power Thoughts. And it's kind of like a foundation for me. So I think I'll layer that as the foundation to my pyramid. Besides, I think if I was to think about a pyramid and my view of the world. Oh, and Dexter says good morning, by the way. He's here. Hello, such a sweetheart. Um, if I was to think about the foundation of my pyramid, I would begin with people are intrinsically good. That would be my foundation, and I might talk about that more in another video, because the family I grew up in did not have the same view. But my foundation is people are intrinsically good. Life is good. Our life has meaning and purpose. There's a lot of discussion as to what that might be or why that might be, but our life has meaning and purpose. And then the power of our words. Our words. I feel like the thoughts we think and the words we speak are like magic. I feel like they're formulas, recipes. I feel like they so literally create our experience in this reality, in this world. They're really, really important. And I learned that in the most kindest, loving way from Louise Hay. And if you haven't heard of her before, the chances are you probably have. But if you haven't, please Google her. She has since passed. One of the stories I remember about her is that back in the 80s, she was working with people who had AIDS, and they would get together in these group sessions. And I don't know exactly what they did, but um, I'm I'm I would imagine that a lot of the work was around the loving space that she created, and and the power of languaging our words and in support. Um, and and in that CD where she talked about it, um, and an example, would be I am love, I am kindness, reminders for yourself. This is one of my most favorite books, called You Can Heal Your Life. And I love this book so much that I would get a copy and I'd be sharing or talking about it with a friend, and then I would give it to them. And then I would forget who I gave it to, and time would go by and I'd be like, where did that book go? Okay, well, I guess I need to get another book. But it's kind of like it just went to the person that it needed to go to. But I can tell you that I have purchased this book many, many times, and I just love it. And so before we'll use this at some point in the video today, I'll just randomly open up to a page and read a little bit to see what Spirit is showing us today. The other thing is, and on that, that's where I first learned. So on Louise Hay, on the 101 Power Thoughts, on that CD, she mentions Abraham-Hicks. And and she said, if you haven't heard of them, you should check them out. Like, I can hear her voice in my head right now. And and I thought, okay, well, I love Louise Hay, so I better check out Abraham-Hicks. And that's how I got in touch with the very first experience of channeling. It's pretty cool. And Abraham is channeled by a woman, and her husband was Jerry at the time. They're from Texas, just down to earth, regular old, ordinary Joes. but but they have a lot of fabulous information that I still reference today. And there's a conference actually coming up in Santa Fe this year that I might go to and get to see them. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is the words that we choose to use. So an example would be, like a personal example would be, hey, I'm new at doing YouTube and blogging or vlogging, and boy, do I really suck at it, right? I could say like, oh my gosh, I make so many mistakes. I'm just like, I don't even have a clue what I'm doing, and uh, I'm just lousy at it, right? Like that's not true, and I could have it that way. I could speak it that way, or I can also uh, reframe it and speak it in a way that actually is creating the future that I want. So I could say, I'm new at it. I'm getting better every day, right? I really love experimenting with this new craft of mine, this new creative um, expression of myself. See, the difference it makes is critical, and it's not even a small difference, right? Like, it's a totally different perspective. It's a totally different way of looking at it. And another thing that came to mind to me this morning was, and this, I mean, I'm sure you can remember things that happened, like crucial moments in your life, right? When you were young, little pinpoint moments of things that happened. And as a young girl, my dad, and he passed this month in January, 2 years ago. So this will be the anniversary, the 2-year anniversary since his passing. And I love that man very, very much. And I know that he did the very best job that he could being my dad, right? I know that in my heart. But I remember one thing that he said. He was a Marine, and he really believed in intimidation and in using force. Um, and the louder person is the winner, stuff like that. So I remember him telling me that words can't hurt you, and it was probably in the context of uh, at least I wasn't getting hit or beaten or anything like that, which thank God he was good in that way, and I'm very, very grateful. But the thing that he said to me was that words can't hurt you is something that has stuck with me clearly all this time, because I do believe that words are power. Words are magic. They create your reality, and they create the experience of your reality. And so it's important. So what can we do? Like some ways, knowing that words are powerful, what can we do to incorporate more positive phrasing, framing words in our life? One of the things that I do, and it's become just a habit now, I don't even think about it. My wife comments about this all the time, uh, how I frame things always in the positive, and I'm just not thinking about it. It just thankfully is a mindset that I've gotten into. Um, but look at any statement that you might be repeating or saying frequently about yourself, about your situation, about others, um, and how can you tweak those words to you're not denying anything. That's not what it is. You're simply looking at it from a different perspective. You could think of it as a jewel, right? The thing, the issue. You can think about it as being a jewel with many different sides. And when you look at it from this angle, it looks one way. When you look at it from the other side, it's completely different. I love the visuals online of this. So, for example, you've got two people standing. There's a number written on a sidewalk, and the number 6 is a good example, or is it the number 9? Which is and you've got a person standing on one end, insisting and arguing and like extremely positional that it's a 6, and you have that same person standing on the other side, just as positional, insisting that it's a number 9. And that's just a beautiful visual that's out there on the internet that I love. It's about perspective, but I think that we can use that in crafting, like magic crafting. We can use that in crafting the different statements and the different sentences and the different words that we choose to surround ourselves with and that we choose to verbalize. So just give that a try, and let me know below any examples that you might have, or any stories that you might have, or maybe if you feel particularly stuck with a particular one, share it, and I'm happy to offer my different perspective on it and see. So that's so before I move on to the second thing, let's just take a second to look at this real quick. So again, it's Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. This book has a lot of beautiful information and words in it. But let's just take a second, and with our intention, what is a message that can speak to the majority of us here today, or here listening to this video, all of those who in all of time will listen to this video? What's a message that is that will speak to the hearts of all of us? And I'll just open it up. Oh, interesting. So it comes to prosperity is the chapter, and it says, I deserve the best and I accept the best now. And it says, if you want the above affirmation to be true for you, then you do not want to believe any of the following statements. So she's got all the examples of things that we might have heard. Money doesn't grow on trees. I'm poor but clean. I am poor but clean or good. Oh, meaning like I'm a good person. Rich people are crooks. Oh, well, there you go. That's one that I actually hear all the time. Or I'm always in debt. So then she talks about different things that you can do to switch that. And then in the end, here's an example. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. I am one with the power that created me. I am totally open and receptive to the abundant flow of prosperity that the universe offers. All my needs and desires are met before I even ask. I am divinely guided and protected, and I make choices that are beneficial for me. Ooh, I like that one, right? Like that's a post-it statement that you could write and keep in your car, in your bathroom. I'll read it again. It says, I make choices that are beneficial for me. I rejoice in others' successes, knowing there is plenty for all of us. I am constantly increasing my conscious awareness of abundance, and this reflects in a constantly increasing income. My good comes from everywhere and everyone. All is well in my world. Even just those little segments. My good comes from everywhere and everyone. And all is well in my world. Okay, well, that's just an example of some of the information that's in this book here. And when I get stuck, or when I have a friend who's really having a hard time, this is the book we go to kind of put us on another track and shift our way of thinking. And the other topic that I wanted to talk about real quick is a little bit of journaling. And I thought, you know, that might be something that I could incorporate with my the 10-minute meditation. What if I was to take 5 or 10 minutes before I do the meditation and just do a little bit of journaling and then flow into the meditation? I think that could be like a real focused way of helping to call in all my thoughts, you know, all the different stuff, honing it in and setting the intention. I think that might really help with the meditation. And journaling can look like a lot of different things, you know, for a lot of people. I know there's the free writing. You know, I did that one time. What was it? The automatic writing papers or something like that. That was a book that I did, where you just write whatever comes and whatever comes, and that was a pretty cool experience. You could journal about what's happened, or maybe, you know, an issue that you're particularly facing. All of those things, that's not what I'm thinking about. So I'll tell you specifically what I'm thinking about is focusing on how I want to feel. I know in talking about manifestation and visualizing what you want and things like that, it's common and it makes a lot of sense to, like in The Secret, right? The movie, not The Secret, but What the Bleep. To focus on what do you want? You want a fabulous job that pays, you know, a certain amount of money, or a big house, or a, you know, a particular relationship, something like that. And what I'm saying is, and you want all those things because they're going to make you happy, right? Because you think that they're going to make you happy. However, why not just focus on how you want to feel, right? Why not just focus on the happy? And hear me out for a second, because this is a perspective that I got from What the Bleep. Fabulous documentary. I don't know when that came out. 2000s, the early 2000s or something like that. But in it was a segment where they did this two-dimensional kind of reality versus another dimension. So think of it like this. Here you are in your experience of reality in the world with all the gifts and abilities that you have right now in this moment. And it's a tiny, tiny little perspective, right? So from where you are, you're thinking, oh my gosh, that would be the best for me. Oh, that's exactly what I want. Oh, that's exactly what I need. But how many times has that not been the case, right? And I think it's because of the limited perspective that you're at right now in that moment where you're launching that desire. And that's from Abraham Hicks. You launch those rockets of desire. So think of it like this. I applied for a job at a very prestigious university, and my whole world, the things that I had imagined on how huge my life was going to change if I got this job, it was like everything. It was everything to me. And it got down to me and one other person. And so, by then you're really fantasizing about how great your life is going to be, and the money and the job and the benefits and all that kind of stuff. And I did not get the job. And wow, was I I was so disappointed. I was so sad. Well, 2 weeks later, it was about 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from a director from another department at the university who had been talking to the person that I interviewed with, and said, hey, we have a position open. We haven't opened it up or anything yet, but I was talking with so-and-so, and they thought that you might be a really nice fit for it. And it all worked out. I went in and I interviewed and I got the job, and it was fabulous. But then being in the role, I was actually interacting with the department and the person that I would have been in, and having the experience now of the department that I was in, which was a phenomenal department, a phenomenal group and team of people that really aligned with me, and observing that department and that team and that person, that role for the job that I would have gotten. Oh my gosh. It was like, thank you, universe, for saving me. It just was unbelievable, the difference. And so I use that as an example for where I was from my perspective in my place. I was like, oh yeah, that's everything. And if I don't get that, all is lost, right? Everything sucks, and I'm a failure and all that kind of stuff. But from a higher perspective, right? I don't know if you can see my finger. From a higher perspective, there is so much more out there that we don't even know about from our very, very limited perspective. Okay, so that's a long way for me to go around the bush to simply say, it is my suggestion that when you journal, when you want to manifest things, when you're verbalizing, when you're wanting to create your future with intentionality, I strongly suggest that you do not focus on the thing. How many people have that incredible job and they're miserable, right? For all different kinds of reasons. How many people have that amazing house and they feel, it doesn't do it. It doesn't make them happy. Don't focus on the thing. Focus on how you want to feel. And I think that's the secret sauce. I really, really do. One other example of that is this movie that I was also reminded of. I think about it every so often. It just comes up. And I probably saw it 20, 30 years ago. I'm not really, well, it came out in 1997. So there you go. And it was called Life is Beautiful. And I wrote it down. It's by, the director was Roberto Benigni. Benigni. I'm horrible, and I apologize for my pronunciation there. I'm messing it up. But it is called Life is Beautiful. And what it is it's the story of a Jewish family during the Holocaust. And they had a small boy, and the husband and the wife and the small child were all in the camp together, but all isolated and stuff like that. And the father, the efforts that father went through to make the experience for that child, uh, he just altered it. I guess what I would say is, I don't think the child fully knew, this is from the movie, what was going on, because the father went to such extremes to shift the perspective over here and to look at things through a different way, and through humor and through just creativity and things like that. So took the situation, and it is an impactful movie that is a reminder to me of, you might be in a situation, and you might feel it or experience it a certain way, but I would challenge you to find another way to look at it, because there's multiple, many, if not infinite, I don't know, but that seems pretty huge, but there's multiple perspectives to take on whatever situation you happen to be in. So just try on a different perspective, and if that one's not working for you after a while, then find another one, a different way of looking at it, because it's incredibly powerful. Okay, so it's time to do our meditation, and I think what I'd like to do is, let's see. So we talked about journaling, and we talked about how do you want to feel. So I am in the process of starting a new practice, and I'm in a new state. I'm in a new home. I'm in a new everything, right? And so I'm starting from the beginning, uh, and my tendencies would be to, and I have done this honestly, if I'm being honest, make lists, do research. Um, uh, Strategize on how to approach, uh, getting clients and all this kind of stuff, and statistically, how many clients do I need, and how many can I see a day, and all this. So I have gone that route, and I have done it all that way. But what I'm challenging myself to do is focus on what I want the experience to be like, right? How I want it to feel. How do I want my day to day as a successful sound healing practitioner? How do I want my day to day to look and feel? And so that's what I'm going to journal on. I'm going to take just about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, doesn't have to be a long time. And please do it with me. Pick something that you've got going on. Maybe it's a relationship or that you're wanting to manifest. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's a home environment, right? That that you want to have be better. You want to have it be different and better. So focus on how you want that to feel, and write some write some of those feelings down, and then I'll just go right into the meditation, and then we'll come back together and see what it was like. Okay, so how was that? I actually, I think that's a really good process to follow. I wanna do that again. I really liked the writing down, and it did. I've got a clock here, so I only took like 5 minutes, just a quick 5 minutes, and I wrote down a bunch of things on what I wanted to feel and experience related to my practice, establishing my practice and building it. And then I went right into the meditation, and I guess I was able to do, the 10 minutes. That's pretty cool. Time goes by fast, but I can't always do the 10 minutes. And so I just wanted to share with you, it's okay if you're doing just a few minutes and then like your mind is gone. You just can't, right? Because I've experienced that some days I'm better at it than others. Um, so I would say don't endure, right? There's no, you're not going to get a gold medal for enduring. Take it to the point of where you're like, okay, I've lost it. And if you can't just bring your awareness back to your heart center and regain it, then let it go. I know it was listening to Abraham-Hicks. Um, One of the things that they say is be easy about all of this. Like I am so guilty of making things really serious. You might have noticed I'm a super, super serious person. but but they said in one of the books that they've written, be easy with all of this. And that's what I would invite you to do. So if you can do just a few minutes, awesome. I promise you, and I guarantee that if you stick with it consistently, you'll build up to the minutes, right? And 10 minutes seems to be really just perfect. So if you think about it, we did the 5 minutes for the journaling and the 10 minutes for the meditation. We're talking 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day that will alter the course of your life. It will. I truly, truly, truly feel that it will do that in whatever area that you want to focus on. I was just going to share. Do I have glasses? No, I don't have glasses. I was going to share real quick to give you an example of what I was meaning when we talk about focusing on the feeling and the experience. I said, how do I want to feel in my new career? So that was the prompt that I did. And then I said, and I won't read them all, but I look forward to seeing clients. I feel energized from our sessions. I feel like I'm contributing in positive ways. Um, I like that I'm here to make a meaningful, I'm here to make a meaningful difference. What's the other thing? It doesn't have to be perfect, right? I have plenty of personal time. My work-life balance feels good and supportive. I'm making plenty of money. I love the space I work in. It feels so bright and peaceful. I like sharing and talking with others about the work I do. I have an abundance of clients who are a lovely balance with me and the work I do. I really enjoy the work. It's fun and meaningful, and I am always learning new things. I feel incredibly supported by the universe. So that's just me. That's just the area that I chose to focus on. And that's just where I happen to be right now in this moment, in this reality. But hopefully that's an example for you of what I'm talking about because I could say as the example, I want to make so much money. I want to see so many clients. I want to grow it exponentially and be this big by this date and all those kinds of things. And those types of goals and specifics are helpful and they have their place. But for right now in this conversation, I would challenge you to uh, focus on what you want the feeling and the experience to be and see what that's like. And then as for the meditation, it felt really good to me. I did see some color, not a lot like the last time that I had shared. And that comes. I had asked in my intention when I was doing the meditation, hey, what steps can I take that will benefit my practice? And nothing like specific. I so am wanting to hear that voice from the universe, right? To say, hey, do this or do that or go here. And I've heard other people talk about something that they get in their little mailbox, where they just like boom, receive this amazing information, and so um, I do not experience that. I might in the future. That would be pretty cool if I did. But what I did get was a little insight that it's not that I have to receive the answer right now in this moment during this meditation, but when I'm out and about and doing my day, be open to opportunities. Like be feeling for opportunities to share about what I do, or to see a sign and take an action or inquire about, an office space or all those different kinds of things. So that's kind of the little feeling that I got in my meditation. Go ahead and take a second if you're doing this yourself, and if you feel like sharing, please do share down below, because it helps. It makes a difference. We really, how you can always see what that person needs to do, right, to fix things or to do better in their lives, but you can't so much see it in yourself. It helps to hear from another person's perspective what they've got going on, or what they're experiencing, or insights that they had, that turns things on for us. It can be really helpful. So, all right, until next time, mwah, be the light.